Hello, Manitoba. I'm Larry McIntosh, and I'll be your host for the next hour. Food and Friends will now be on every Sunday afternoon from 1 to 2 p.m. If this is the first time listening to Food and Friends, welcome to the show. Our show previously aired Saturday mornings at 8, but we moved as part of the new CJOB weekend lineup. As a little background, Food and Friends is not a call-in format, but more of a casual conversation with lots of time to share stories and get to know our guests. The show is not political, meant to be controversial, or a venue to criticize others. It is meant to be a leisurely conversation with friends with a Manitoba theme with a new guest every weekend. Whether it's your first time listening or you've been a loyal listener for the last 4.5 years, thank you for tuning in. My guest today is Sam Katz from the Winnipeg Goldeyes. How are you?
Pleasure to be here.
Thanks for joining us.
I can't think of a better place to be. The Goldeyes are out of town. I should be here.
So, firstly, I have to say happy birthday. You just had a birthday on Thursday, right?
Close, yes, you're right.
Thursday.
I did. How did you know that?
Thursday. And you were, I don't think you mind me sharing with listeners, 64? Am I right on that?
1951, August 20th. So you're correct.
64, all right?
64.
Wow.
And just to enlighten you and everyone else, because you already know, yes, my wife and I are expecting in November.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on that as well.
We're really excited. Thank you very much.
And how old are your other children?
Let's see. Ava, the oldest, is 14. Kira is 10. Aiden is turning 3 in November, and then there'll be the newborn this November.
Wow. The girls have really grown.
Yeah, that's what happens. Time flies.
I tell you.
Yes, it does.
So let's talk about the Goldeyes first, because that's probably the majority of your time now is spending at the Goldeyes, or?
A lot of my time is at the Goldeyes office, where I was for many, many years doing, sales and marketing and many other things. And it's been a real fun summer to get back. And hopefully the Goldeyes can get on a little streak and keep things going.
Now, you're going to have to get on a bit of a streak because to get the wild card spot, what's what you're going for, right?
I would say we need a major, major streak. It could happen. Do I think it's likely? No. But you know what? We're mathematically alive at this stage of the game, so we'll see what happens.
Never say never.
Never say never.
Now, the league, I was looking at the standing the other day, and there's lots of teams. And I forgot there's, I think Montreal and a whole bunch of places you're playing. But the one team in St. Paul's is like unbelievable team this year, right?
The St. Paul Saints and the Sioux City Explorers are both going to set a record for the most wins ever in the American Association. Absolutely phenomenal.
Wow.
Yeah, it's like, people used to talk about the mighty Yankees. They're even better right now. It's pretty wild and crazy, which makes it tough on the rest of us, no question about that.
And that's got to be difficult. I mean, you certainly have great people working for you, as all teams try and do, but you have a salary cap and you have these things to worry about. And you have to kind of redevelop your team almost to a large degree every year, right?
Yeah, we have a 22-man roster. Usually if you have 5 or 8 players coming back, that's pretty good. Hopefully a lot of them move on to Major League Baseball. Right. And so you're always rebuilding, but that's what it's all about, giving all these great athletes another opportunity to make it to the show.
Mm-hmm. And Shelley and I, along with our board of directors, actually were at the ballpark last Wednesday, a week ago Wednesday, and we had the afternoon game. So we had a board meeting in the morning at your meeting room and stayed around for the game. About 50 of us attended the game. Unfortunately, they did not win, but it was close. It was so close. But
heartbreaking, to say the least.
Yes, but we had a great time, and then we were there the week before with some of our long-term staff on the holiday Monday. So it's a great time, and you don't want to say this, whether win or lose, you have a great time. I mean,
well, that's what it's all about. I mean, many, many years ago, I guess, going back to the beginning of 1994, I always said quality and affordable family entertainment. That's what it was all about. That's what it means to me. But to see your team win is a little extra bonus, no question about it. And to make the playoffs and win a championship, I mean, that's what we want for all the professional teams here in Winnipeg. The Jets, the Bombers, the Goldeyes, and the Moose again as well. We like to see that. But putting a quality product, on the field is really important.
And it's absolutely important. And it is a fun time seeing them win. Any team, you want to see them win. But you also have a good time because the concessions are great, the staff is great, the parking is not too expensive. There's a whole bunch of things at that league that is a lot of fun.
Well, that was obviously the goal. I remember back in 94, I used to say I wanted to make sure that anybody who delivered newspapers could afford to come to a Goldeyes game anytime they wanted to. And, if you bring your family, you look in your wallet, you're still going to have money left over. It's not going to break the bank, and that's what it's all about. And of course, having quality and reasonably priced food available is also important, because that's part of the whole experience from my point of view.
And I was looking at, when I was doing research for this interview, I think your attendance is, on average, is second highest in the league. I think St. Paul's was more, is it? Yeah.
Actually, we've been the highest, but St. Paul's in a league of their own right now. So yes, we're probably second highest, and I don't think anybody's ever going to catch St. Paul Saints with what they just built, a brand new $55 million ballpark, and they're getting phenomenal support. And they have the Minnesota Twins. They got professional football, hockey, and basketball as well. So it's amazing what's going on there right now. But you know what? Kudos to them, doing a great job.
Well, you don't want to be second to them in attendance for too long. You're going to have to ramp that up or something. Eh? Actually, their stadium must hold a lot of people.
It does hold a lot of people, and we'll do our best. But as I say, St. Paul's in a very unique situation.
Are you happy with attendance? Have you noticed a difference in attendance when all these other teams, obviously the Moose are coming back? You wouldn't have noticed that necessarily yet, but
it's, you know what? Here's what's happening. The field has changed, okay? Because when the Jets came back, which made a major change, now the Moose came back, and you want everybody to support whatever they want, but these are your disposable dollars. You only have so many disposable dollars, and you have to make your choices, and you can't do everything. So does it have an impact? Yes. But you know what? I've always said that the public should have the largest choice possible and let them decide how they want to spend their hard-earned money. So from my point of view, it's good to have all of us in the market.
And from my point of view, we've been dealing with the Goldeyes since you started back in the day, doing sponsorships and advertising with you, and we've dealt with Dan Chase for many, many years. I think you have an edge with people that you have. The people you have are passionate about the game, and they give great value for advertisers and the fans. So,
well, my philosophy has always been, no matter how smart you are or how hard you work, unless you're surrounding yourself with the best people who believe in what you believe, you're not going to get anywhere. And I think I'm very fortunate to have a lot of phenomenal people who've been there for a long, long time. I've got a lot of my staff who've been there since the beginning of time. And we're more of a family, if you know what I mean. That's how we operate.
We're speaking with Sam Katz. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. Food and Friends Radio is on TV. Each radio show is filmed and will be posted on Mytoba.ca later this weekend. So if you want to see the TV version of this or previous radio shows, please visit Mytoba.ca. You can also listen to an audio podcast of Food and Friends at SoundCloud.com and at the iTunes Store. So please just do a search for Food and Friends with Larry at Mytoba.ca or SoundCloud.com or at the iTunes Store, and all the shows will come up for your listening or viewing pleasure. It's very important for you to mention that Food and Friends is only available because of 680 CJOB and its advertisers. So please make sure you tune in right here at our new time every Sunday afternoon at 1 or listen live at cjob.com. We're back with Sam Katz from the Winnipeg Goldeyes. So Sam, do you know where you were 1,318 days ago? I don't expect you to have the answer.
No, I don't.
You don't?
I don't.
You married Shelley and I 1,318 days ago.
Is that when you know what? I was telling somebody that. As a matter of fact, I was telling Dan Chase that. He didn't know that last week. And I said, yes, I did. But I didn't know it was 1,300 plus days ago.
Yeah, so for our listeners.
And what a wonderful, wonderful time that was, too.
we had a great time. For our listeners, Shelley and I got married at the Delta, Winnipeg, 1,318 days ago, or 3 years, 7 months, and 10 days, by Mr. Katz. When you were mayor, obviously, you got a special license, I think, for the day?
I did, yes. I got a special license for you and Shelley. And I'm sure from your point of view, it seems like just yesterday.
It does. It really does. And we often talk about it. We didn't hire a professional photographer for the wedding, but people took pictures on their phones and they sent them to us. And it's a really neat event. And we really, it was a special day for us in many ways. And we thank you.
It was my pleasure. Very unique, very different. And also raising money for a great cause as always.
Yes, again, for our listeners, we sold tickets to our wedding, but all the money went to Cancer Care Manitoba. So it was a wedding with a twist, I think is what we called it.
I like that.
So Sam, you were mayor for like 10 years. Did that seem like a long time?
No, actually, when I look back, it didn't seem like 10 years.
No?
It went by fairly quickly. I'm sure there were some days that seemed they lasted for a year, but no, overall, when I think back of 10 years, it went by fairly quickly, no question about it.
Did you accomplish what you would like to accomplish?
Well, put it this way, got a lot done. I don't think you ever get everything done, but when I drive around the city and see some of the changes that I know, I as mayor along with council were part of, yeah, I'm extremely happy to see a lot of positive things that have happened. No question about it.
And I think you're right. When you drive around, you see lots of things that just didn't happen in the last couple of months. They're in the planning for a long time, and through last council as well as yourself, obviously. It has to be exciting to see some of those things coming about.
Well, you know what? It's funny because as I was driving here, I took a detour. I went by Central Park, which was an area where a lot of new immigrants come, and it was a park that wasn't used, and it was scary, etc. And then along with the Forks and some other private sector people in the city, we changed that. So they now have a spray pad there. They have turf for playing all year round. It's a great facility. And I think, and everywhere you go, I look at recreational facilities, look at libraries, look at swimming pools. There's so much that has happened, but then again, there's a lot that has to happen still.
Yeah, there's no end to it, but I think the city's on the right path. I think the council and yourself over those 10 years took us in a direction we needed to go, and I think we've got momentum going.
I think we do. More people are coming to live downtown, a lot of development happening downtown, which is the heart of the city. There's a lot of positive things to do, but as you know, a city is always changing, so you can't stop. You got to keep going.
So you're a mayor from June 2004 to November 2014, so the 10 years, as we said. Is there a part of you that said, man, I should have stayed one more term? Or tried to stay one more term? Obviously, it's up to the voters.
What? My Leah and I, my wife, discussed that, and the decision had been made a while ago. This was my last term. It was 10 years. I've always believed a great way to give back to the city is for people to run for public office, because it's not the most wonderful job, in the world, but you need people running for council, running for mayor, whatever the case may be. This is something that I did, and 10 years was exactly what I think was just a perfect scenario, and now I'm back with my family, and that's what you, as a elected official, that's what you give up. And even at my age, I still have a young family, so it's very unique because the previous mayors didn't have that scenario. Mayor Bowman has something similar to me, and I remember telling, Brian, giving him the one piece of advice, the best piece, whatever you do, make sure you build in family time, because your office will take every minute, every hour, every day you give them. So make sure you block off family time.
And beyond, the running the city or along with council, you get invited to ribbon cuttings and dinners, and you could be consumed 24 hours a day by that position.
Breakfast, lunch, and supper. You get invited to all those things. I made a policy, if I was invited to dinners, what I would do, I would say, here's the option. I either will be home to have dinner with my family, or I'll be home to put my kids to bed. So I would go to the dinner and then leave early so I get my, both my daughters to bed at that time. You've got to make certain rules to basically make sure you don't forget what your priority is. And my family was always and is my number one priority.
And I've always said this, but elected officials, and yes, there's a paycheck involved, but it's what goes way beyond that. What you give up in your personal life, what you give up in your business life, it's a large commitment for people to make to take public office.
It definitely is, and that's unfortunate because that prevents a lot of quality candidates from coming forward. If you ever calculate the number of hours and divided it, the hourly wage is not very high, trust me. But you know what? This is something you choose to do, okay? You choose to do. You decided to run, and you got people to vote for you so you could get elected. So I don't think anybody should ever complain because it's something you chose. And, it was very gratifying to see in 3 elections that I ran that the people decided to give me their support and elect me. So it's a big thank you to all those who did support me. That's much appreciated.
We're speaking with Sam Katz, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. I'm Larry McIntosh. I wanted to tell you about Peak of the Market's Recipe of the Day that will be featured in Monday's Winnipeg Free Press and at peakmarket.com. Monday's recipe will be apple ginger soup. There's lots of vegetables in this as well as some fruit, which makes it even better for you. Apple ginger soup will be featured in the Recipe of the Day on Monday in the Winnipeg Free Press and at peakmarket.com. In both the Winnipeg Free Press and our website have a new recipe every day, 7 days a week, so please make sure you check it out. Peak of the Market is on Twitter. Please follow us at Peak of the Market for recipes and Food and Friends guest updates. We have over 230,000 Twitter followers, and we'd love to have you follow us too. Again, we're at Peak of the Market, or you can follow me at Larry McIntosh. We'll be right back with Sam Katz, from the Winnipeg Goldeyes, after we take this break for your news, sports, and weather. We'll be right back. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. I hope you're enjoying some of Manitoba's grown vegetables that are now available. Peak of the Market growers have been very busy harvesting. Here's a list of all the Manitoba grown vegetables that are available right now at your local store. And it's a long list. I'll go quick. We have green beans, beets, broccoli, carrots, corn, green, red, and Savoy cabbage, cauliflower, cucumbers, kale, leeks, parsnips, rutabagas, pickling onions, shallots, zucchini, green and jalapeno peppers, green acorn squash, and our largest crop, new red potatoes. Arriving in your stores next week will be yellow flesh potatoes as well. So please remember, if it says Peak in the Market on the label, it is guaranteed to be grown right here in Manitoba, and you're supporting Manitoba growers. We're back with Sam Katz from the Winnipeg Goldeyes. So a week ago, Saturday, Gordon Sinclair wrote an article in the Winnipeg Free Press about Farron Hall and the statue project. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about that. I know you're involved.
Well, yeah, I mean, first of all, just so it's very clear, this is something that actually Gordon Sinclair, he's the creator of this idea. I just happened to be shopping one day, and so was he. We bumped into each other at a parking lot at the Walmart on Taylor Avenue, and he told me what he was thinking about doing something, wasn't quite sure, and he mentioned, acknowledging Farron Hall, and I said, you know what a phenomenal idea. I'm in, tell me what you need. And then lo and behold, just a few days ago, we had a meeting with Paul Jordan from the Forks and the artist Charlie and a few other people in Gordon, and we have a plan now. We know exactly what we're doing, and I'm happy to share that with you, is that the whole idea is to build actually bigger than life, about the scale of 1.2 to 1 of Farron Hall. It will be at the Forks, just south of the Esplanade Riel. For those of your listeners who may not be familiar with Farron Hall was Aboriginal, he was homeless, and he was a hero.
Yes.
Okay? He actually jumped into the Red River to save a drowning individual. Didn't do it once, did it twice on 2 different occasions. Obviously, Farron had some demons that he was fighting as well, which all of us have certain challenges. And when I first met Farron, it was after he saved a life. I was the mayor then. I acknowledged him and gave him an award, and then I'll never forget, I asked him, is there anything else I can do for you? And I'm talking about me. Mm-hmm. And he said, well, can I get some season tickets to the Goldeyes? So I said, Farron, you don't need any season tickets. Your name's at the will call. Any day you come with a friend, you're welcome there. And when I presented him, I gave him a Goldeyes jacket. And I can't tell you how appreciative he was. It was just a nice little Goldeyes jacket. Mm-hmm. He was so humble. He was so nice. And after that, we got him a place to stay. It was at the Ramada Marlborough. Gave him a credit for food every day. And typical Farron, he was having his friends come over and share the food. And he stayed there for a couple weeks, and then he asked if I could make arrangements for him to get home to visit his family. And so we did that, and then, Farron was doing a few other things, but basically a year ago, Farron, as ironic as it may seem, he drowned in the Red River. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But what people have to understand is when you talk about Farron Hall, you're talking about someone who's Aboriginal, a homeless person, and a hero. And as sad as the statement might be, most people would not put those three together. Mm-hmm. Okay? Many, many, many citizens sometimes decide to, judge a book by its cover, which I think we need a lot of changing. I see this change happen. And it's wonderful for people to acknowledge that a homeless person, someone who is Aboriginal, can be as wonderful a human being as me or you, and maybe even better. And I think we all have to understand that and grasp that. And that's why when Gordon brought this up, and we had to raise the project cost $100,000, I said, you know what, Gordon, I'd love to go out there and raise money towards this project. So I've started to do that actually just earlier in the week, making phone calls, and so far the response has been kind of what I thought it would be, positive, and I think people want to be part of this. And it's important from my point of view that long after we're all gone, that everybody remembers Farron Hall, who he was and what he did.
And I 100% agree with you, and certainly Peak of the Market and Shelley and I personally have donated to the Forks Foundation, who's putting the statue or bringing the money together for the statue. And I don't know if I've ever told you this, but he actually, Farron worked at Peak of the Market for several months, and he touched the lives of many of our coworkers who loved him, look forward to talking to him every day. Very intelligent individual, whole bunch of bumps in his life, but it was a pleasure to know him, and we all still talk about the great days we had with him. So I think the statue is a fantastic idea.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. We're doing this in conjunction with the Forks Foundation, and if anybody wants to make a donation, just make a check payable to the Forks Foundation, mark it Re Farron Hall, and any donation over $20, you'll get a tax receipt. And you and Shelley are too humble to say this, but I know you were both one of the very first to actually make a contribution. So, there's so many wonderful people in the city, and I'm sitting across from a couple right now.
Well, thank you very much. And this is a great project that he deserves to be remembered. He was a role model in many ways, and I'm so happy that he crossed our lives and so many other people's lives as well.
Yeah, I will tell you, I put one condition on me being involved. This isn't a project that would drag on 4 or 5 or 6 years. I expect to have an unveiling of the statue by fall of 2016 complete. So we want to move this as quickly as we can. And like I say, any contribution would be appreciated. So thank you to anybody who's considering and who can make a contribution.
So you just go to the Forks website, and there's a click on there for the Forks Foundation, and it tells you can donate, put in the Farron Hall project, and your donation will go towards that. So it's fairly easy to do. You can do it with PayPal or send a check. So we encourage you to do that. It's a great project, and we're talking to Sam Katz. We'll be right back after this break. Welcome back. I'm Larry McIntosh. I want to take a moment to thank all of you who stopped by Peak of the Market's Family Fun Day this past Thursday. I hope you had a good time. Also, a big thank you for making a donation to Variety, the children's charity in Manitoba. And that's what the whole day was about. Free day with any donation to Variety, the children's charity in Manitoba. And no matter what amount you gave, it makes a difference to Variety's kids. We're back with Sam Katz from the Winnipeg Goldeyes. So you got the Goldeyes happening. You're having another child. You just had a birthday. Look, you've got lots going on.
Yeah, I'm still doing some Broadway musicals. We're marketing those as well, and doing some trade shows. You know what? It's busy. It's a different kind of busy, but it affords me the opportunity to take my kids to school, leave a little early and pick them up, and spend nights with them, which to me is, God, it makes you feel good all over. So to me, it's great. Things are really good right now.
I'm glad to hear that. You have a little more flexibility in your life now, but you're still very busy. And I don't want to make it sound like you're not a mayor anymore. Suddenly you have nothing to do. I know you have a ton on the go.
Oh no, I've got a ton on the go, but it's tough. You know what I've always said, and you may share this. If you're doing something that you love to do, is it really fair to call it work? We're pretty lucky.
Absolutely.
There are people who have to do whatever they can do just to pay the bills, send the kids to college, make the mortgage payments, make the car payments. I'm doing something I love. How can I complain?
So what do you see as your next big project? Obviously, you're doing the Farron Hall statue as a volunteer thing, but what do you see? More musicals coming to town?
It'd be nice. I'm looking to do more musicals in town. We're also looking for, new and creative promotions. As a matter of fact, I'll share one with you right now. We're actually going to be doing something very unique in our city. We're doing something we call Bark in the Park. We're doing the Winnipeg Pet Show come this fall in October. Okay. And as part of that, we're actually basically, when you Bark in the Park, we're on September the 3rd, people can bring their dog to the park, a Goldeyes game, and enjoy a game together. And there's all sorts of treats and prizes. So it's something very unique for the city where you can actually come to an event and bring your loved one, your pet.
Really?
Yeah, you can bring the wife or husband too if you want. That's an option. That's an option.
So I've never heard this before. Is it?
I just announced today.
Wow,
right here.
right here at Food and Friends. So you can bring your pet to the park on September 3rd, is that what you said?
September the 3rd. It's called
wow.
Bark. Did I say September the 3rd? September the 2nd. Thank you
Second?
for correcting me.
Okay.
September the 2nd, and it's called Bark in the Park, and a Goldeye game, and with your pet, your loved one. So to me, I think it's going to be very unique, and I think we're working with the Humane Society, and a portion of the net proceeds will also go to the Humane Society. So supporting a great cause as well.
That's a great idea.
Well, you know what? It's a good thing to do, and we're always coming up with new creative ideas. Similar to what you do.
Well, we sell vegetables, and we're very proud of that. But the uniqueness that you have, that is incredible. You have to buy, like if I had a dog, do I have to buy a seat for it?
$12, you and your dog, and you get a seat. You get 2 seats. 2 seats for $12.
Wow.
Yeah. And don't tell me you're not creative. How many people do you know could turn a carrot into a microphone? Come on, how many people could do that?
There's not many people that probably want to do that, let's be honest.
That wasn't the issue, my friend. That wasn't the issue. So yeah, there's lots of things. Plus, as I said, we are doing the Winnipeg Pet Show at the convention center in October. You know what? I'm not a guy who can sit still. You know what? When I go on vacation after 5 or 6 days, I'm saying, okay, I'm ready to go back. So that's just the way I am. But there's always things to do, no shortage of them.
I assume, by knowing you, you're a high energy person. You love what you do, as we talked about earlier, as I do. And when you get up in the morning, you're enthusiastic about it. And that's half the battle, I think.
Yeah, my wife is trying to figure out how I can be so happy and wonderful in the morning. What's wrong with me? But I love mornings, and like I say, I love what I do. I right now with Aiden, I get, he wakes up early, so I wake up earlier than him. We have a little fun and then off to work. And with the newborn, it'll be, a little bit different, a little bit more challenging. But you know what? I can't think there's no greater blessing than bringing a child, into the world. And I'm so excited for me and Leah, and our life will be a little bit different again. But you know what? It's terrific. We're both looking forward to it. So life is good. Life is good.
And no question about it. I'm glad.
Great to be in Winnipeg, and life is good.
And you were mayor for many years, as we talked about earlier. And did you actually get calls at home at night about potholes and all that type of thing? Or people leave you alone?
No, I got calls all the time.
Is that right?
Yeah, well, your number becomes public because when you file, you have to put your phone number in. I get calls from the public. I get, people calling me. I'd also get, employees, unfortunately, if something bad happened, if there had been a shooting, I'd get a call, if there was a train derailment, if there was a fire. So, these are calls anytime between, 11 at night and 5 in the morning. You get calls. My cell phone was never off.
Right.
Except when I was on an airplane. It was never off. And, after a while, you get used to it. But as I say, it can wear on you. I mean, I adapt pretty easily. But listen, you got to remember, you're working for the citizens of Winnipeg. They have the right to call you. Just don't think they're going to call you at the office. They're going to call you at home. I've had the same cell number since cells were invented. I haven't changed my number ever, so people have my number. People call me all the time. That doesn't bother me. I'm a people person. I love talking to people.
And you have to miss that a little bit, all the attention. Come on.
You know what? I will say this to you. It was probably a month after. My phone used to always ring, and all of a sudden it's not ringing for like 10 minutes. I thought maybe it's broken, something's not working. But eventually, you do adapt to it. Listen, I can also tell you this. I will still go out in public. It can be to any type of event, whether it's the grocery store or at a concert or something. People still come to me thinking I'm the mayor and tell me, hey, can't you do something about this or that? And I say, you guys, it's almost a year now. Okay. I can give you a phone number to call, but I can't really help you. But you know what? It was a good 10 years, and like I say, got a lot of things done, and very grateful. And now I'm back with my family and doing other things that I did before, and the transition's been very smooth.
We're speaking with Sam Katz, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to Food and Friends. Please join me next Saturday at 1 o'clock when my guest will be Klaus Lahr, President and CEO of the RBC Convention Center. My guest today has been Sam Katz from the Winnipeg Goldeyes. This has been fun as always, Sam.
It's been great, and that's one of the projects I'm very happy has come to fruition. The new expanded convention center, so that'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And thank you for having me here. It's a lot more fun talking about life as opposed to just politics. So thanks for that opportunity.
Greatly appreciated. And thank you for listening to Food and Friends today. Have a great day. Take care, and please don't forget to eat your veggies. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.